Hello, welcome back to the next session in file handling. Here we are going to deal with binary files. A binary file is a file that stores data in binary format. Binary formats mean digits in zeros and ones. So a binary file stores data not in alphabets. It stores the data in zeros and ones. So if it is stored in zeros and ones format, it is not in human readable format. If you open the file, we will not be able to read it. Then these files are faster and more secure than text files, because in text files, whenever we want to store the data into memory, the text files will be converted into binary format. So ASCII conversion is required in between reading and writing operations while we handling text files. So in binary file handling, whatever operations you do on the file handling, it is very direct and there is no intermediate software required for conversions from one format to another. That's why it is faster and more secure. Examples are images, audio video files and Python data files, which we are going to create. Next, we will see the file modes in binary files. First file mode is RB. RB is a read binary mode. It opens the binary file in read-only mode. You can read whatever content is written in the file. Next is RB plus mode. This is if you are opening this file in RB plus mode, the file is opened for both reading and writing. If the file is already existing and it has some content, nothing will happen to the content. Content will be exactly there and the file will be open for reading and writing. Next file mode is WB mode. If you are opening this file in WB mode, the file is opened for writing, or else I can say when you want to create a new file, open the file in WB mode. If you by mistake open a file which has some data in WB mode, what happens? All the contents will be erased. If the file does not exist, new file will be created. If the file is already existing and you have opened in WB mode or B plus mode, the content of the file will be completely erased. So next is WB plus mode. Opens the file in read as well as in write mode. The file is created. If the file is not existing, you have written a new name and the file is not in the memory, then the file will be newly created. If the file has some content, that content will be completely erased and a new file will be written from the beginning of the file. Now next one is AB. If you are opening a file in AB mode, you are open the file for appending. Appending means what? Adding something to the existing file. So there are already some data and you want to add some more data to it, then you can open the file in AB mode. If the file does not exist and you want to add some data, a new file will be created. Okay. Then there comes AB plus mode. If you are opening a file in AB plus mode, you have opened for append as well as read operation. So if the file does not exist, then a new file will be created. If the file is existing and it has some data, new data will be added at the end of the file. Okay. Now moving on to next slide. How to open a binary file? The opening of binary file is exactly as same as text files. The only difference is in the file mode. The syntax of open function is file object is equal to open file name comma access mode. File name comma access mode. Access mode is file mode. File modes which we have discussed just now. So I have given an example where I have opened the file book.dat on RB mode. My file object's name is F. For that I have written F is equal to open inverted comma के अंदर book.dat comma RB. Okay. Now to open a binary file, you can also use with open statement. The syntax will be with open file name comma access mode as file object. Okay. Colon. That colon is very important. Colon indicates next statement onwards there will be a block under with open. Okay. So example, with open book.dat and the file is open for reading. So I have written RB as F. F is the name of the file object. Next, let's talk about Pickle module. Whenever we execute a program of binary file, we have to use the module called Pickle. So the first line when you write an answer for CBSE board exam, if there is a question regarding binary file, the first line will be import Pickle. So Pickle is a module that you have to include in your code if you are going to handle binary file. Let me tell you why this. As I told you just now, when we store data into a binary file, it is stored in the form of zeros and ones, isn't it? So, but you are writing your code in English language, Python programming language, isn't it? Your entering data also is in Python language. So, this data to be sent to your file in streams, in stream of bits. Okay. This will be done by Pickle module. So Pickle module will help you to transfer your data to you from your Python program to the file, and then taking your data from the file to your Python program. So these processes are called serialization and deserialization. Serialization is converting a Python object to byte stream. Converting a Python object may be list, string, tuple, yeah, for dictionary. So converting that into binary stream. Deserialization means converting the binary stream into the object. These are the only two processes happening when you use Pickle module to read and write. Okay. So serialization and deserialization is done by two functions called pickle.dump and pickle.load. Okay. So you only need to understand, I am including the Pickle module so that I can use these two functions. Pickle.dump for writing into the file, pickle.load for reading from the file. So pickle.dump is going to take your data to the hard disk, while pickle.load will take data from the hard disk to the file program, to your Python program. This is what you have to remember. Okay. These processes, serialization is called pickling and deserialization is called unpickling. This also you have to remember. Now let's see how to write data into a binary file. Writing data means how to create a binary file. Okay. First of all, you have to import the Pickle module. Then you have to open the file in WB mode to create the file. And you have to take data from the user. What data the user want to store into his data file, that you have to ask the user. You have to take input from the user. Then whatever data you got from the user, you have to group it into any kind of sequence data type, and then you have to write that data into the file using pickle.dump. Then finally you have to close the file. Don't forget to close the file. You have to close the file to finish it. So you see the example now. The first line is import pickle. Then the second line is f is equal to open data.dat wb. Data.dat is the name of the file. Wb is the mode in which I am opening the file for writing. Then RNO is a roll number I am taking from the user as input, and then I am taking name of a student also from the user. And here what exactly is happening, I am making a list out of the data entered by the user. I am creating a list. L is equal to square bracket RNO comma name. Now the function is pickle.dump L comma F. This you have to remember, students. Pickle.dump, first you have to write the data item, then the file object. So pickle.dump L comma F, then close the file. Okay. Then reading from a binary file. Once you have created, what is your next activity will be to read. So for that also you have to first import the Pickle module, then open the file in RB mode. Then you have to use Pickle load method. Okay. For writing we have used pickle dump method. Here we are going to use pickle load method. And the last thing is what you have to take care of, handle end of error. Now what is end of error? This happens only in reading. Okay, this happens only in reading. Keep that in mind. Okay, in writing, there is no problem of this thing. Only in reading, you need to take care of this. What happens when you try to read something in a loop? One more reading cycle happens in the file which creates an error. Okay. Because we are using while true condition to read. Yesterday also I explained while true means you are going to run an unlimited loop. So unlimited loop means after you have finished reading entire content of your file, then also continuously your loop will be running, and uh, ultimately the loop is going to create an error because there is nothing to read. After the last item read, there will not be anything to read, but your data will be, your loop will be still running. So this creates an error, end of error. Okay, file does not contain data, end of error. So that error has to be handled. For that we are using try and exception. Okay, try and exception. Try exception block has no other significance. We are using it just to handle the small error occurs while reading. So the first line is import pickle, that you should not forget. The second line is to open the file in read mode. Then we are writing try. Okay, try, try colon. Then our infinite loop, what is that loop? While true. What we are going to do? While true, print pickle dot load f. From f file, whatever I have written, that has to be loaded and that is to be directly printed. And if an error happens, what has to be done? Except. See where I have written except exactly below try. Okay. While is little bit inside. Okay, but except is exactly below try. So except EOF error. Here you can write exception also. No problem. EOF in capital, error ka EP capital, and everything else is same. Except EOF error. What I have run? I have just closed the file. If I have reached the end of the file, then this EOF error will be created. If EOF error is created, my file will be automatically closed. That's what it means. Okay. Now let's go into some questions and solve. The first question is, Mr. Ravi, a manager at a tech company, need to maintain records of employees. Each record should include employee ID, employee name, department and salary. Write Python function to input employee data and append it into binary file. Okay. So there is a tech company that need to maintain records of employee. So there is already a file. From this question we have to understand that there is already a file, and the file has this following format. File, inside the file data is stored in this following format: employee ID, employee name, department and salary. Now what we have to do is we have to take input and append it into the binary file. We need not to create a new file. We've been asked to append to an existing file. Then second function is to update the salary of employees in the IT department to 20,000. So what we need to do, we have to update salary whose department is IT. Okay. We need to update the salary of employees whose department is IT. Now understood the question? Let's go and solve it. Okay, our first line is import pickle. Now let me write the first function. First function name is def. Function name is not mentioned. So I am taking one function name of my own choice. So the function name I will take as append. Okay, the function was to append only now. then colon. Now we need to open the file, that file. So file f is equal to open, and the name of the file I am taking it as employee.dat, and I have to open this file in AB mode. If the file is not existing, new file will be created. If the file is existing, then data will be added at the end of the file. So if Ravi is creating the file for the first time, no issue. New file will be created and whatever data he is entering will be stored in the file. If Ravi is already manipulating the file which is already there, then if we are opening in AB mode, file will be automatically added at the end of the file. Okay, previous data will be retained. So f is equal to open employee.dat and AB. Now I have to ask the user what all the data Ravi has to enter. Ravi has to enter employee ID. So for that we will take a variable emp ID is equal to, I am assuming it as an integer, int input emp ID. Next is employee name. For that I am taking variable as ename. Ename is equal to em input enter name. Then department ID, that is also string. So department ID, and let me convert this into small case so that my typing will go easy. Then salary, that if you want you can take float. I am taking in integer only. Okay, so I am asking the user to enter all these details, and I'm going to make a list out of it. If you want to see how to add a list, I just now explained in the previous slide. You can go and check it out. So to make a list out of it, I just have to write the name of the variables on the left side separated by comma, nothing else. So I will be writing empid, comma, ename, comma, dept, comma, sal. That's it, and close the file. It's done. Okay, list is been made. Now what I have to do? I have to simply write this file into my binary. Write this data into my binary file. Why writing this data into my binary file? This is what been asked by the question, append the data. Since I have opened the file in AB mode, my file pointer will be at the end of the file. So when I write dump function, my file always will be written at the end of the binary file only. So appending will be done beautifully. So I can simply write pickle dot dump, pickle.dump, and first must be your data, then second must be the file object, pickle.dump. So what this function is going to do? This function is to go and open the file, and this function is going to ask for some data, and using the data this function is going to create a list, and this list will be written into the file mentioned by F. Okay. Now after this I can close my file, f dot close. So how many data this function is going to write? This function will write data of one employee only. If you have n number of employees data to be written, you have to call this function n times, or you can add a loop here. Okay, that is your choice. You call this function in a for loop, n times this function will be called, n data will be entered. Or else you can add a loop here. So entire data at once will be written in your function and then you can go back. I am going to do that in my function. I am going to add a loop so that n number of data can be written at once. For that, I am going to ask the user whether he want to add more than one data. Int input total number of employees or int input number of records to append. Okay, so user has to enter number of records that to be appended, or you can have number of records to be added. Okay, that also will do. So number of records to be added, that can be asked. So user will enter one है तो one लिखेंगे. If he want to add more than one data, he will write more than one. Then I am going to run a for loop for I in range of n. N times I want this loop to run, and inside the loop user has to enter all the data, and inside the loop the list will be created. Inside the loop I am going to dump the data, and after writing all the data I will close my file. Okay, let's see if it works, because our one function is finished, so we have to see whether it works or not. Let's make a function called let's run the program, then we will be asked to save it. Let's save it with some name. Then just run. Number of records to be added. I want to add 2 records. Employee number 12, employee name ABCD, and department is IT, and employee salary is something, and employee ID is 16, and this name is BCDE, and department is some marketing. Okay, and salary is something like this. Okay, so I have added 2 records. Now I don't know whether it is been added or not correctly. I have to read and see, isn't it? So let's go and read and see whether it will be read correctly or not. Write one more function so that we can see the output. This is not part of the question answer because read function is not asked in the question. This I am adding only to check. When you write the question answer in your answer sheet in your examination paper, you need not to write the read function. Okay, def read. Then I am going to open this again. Open emp.dat. In which mode I should open for reading? RB. Then what I told, in reading we need to take care of one thing. What is that thing? We need to, in reading only, try, we need to write try. In reading only error happens, and we have to write while true inside try. Okay, and next step is what? Next step is what? We need to, while true, after while true, we will read the content from the binary file to our program. For reading, which function we use? Load function. Load function brings something from the binary file. If it is bringing, we need to keep it somewhere. If we want to keep it, we need to have a list. Okay, because we have written list only. So list is going to come from there. So we have to keep sufficient variable here. So list only I am keeping here. Pickle dot load. Pickle dot load. what F, pickle load F. So I assume data has come from the file F and it has reached to here. So I will just print the data, print L. Let's see what has come. Okay, this is what I am going to do. While through unlimited, inside a unlimited loop, my file is going to be continuously read and printed. Continuously reading and printing, reading and printing. That's only. Okay. Now, if at the end line, if error happens after completing the my everything, error is going to happen. I know that. So I am writing E except EOF error. What I need to do, I can close the file. Okay, if error happens, I will simply close the file. So let's only read and see whether my writing into the file appending is done properly or not. For that only I am running this read function. Okay, let's just run this program and see whether this read function works fine or not. Yes, the read function works very fine, no issue. Now let's move to the next question asked. Next, I'm going to write a function update, open bracket, close bracket, colon. Now I need to open my file. I am going to open my file named emp.dat. I'm going to read now. So I will open in RB mode. Okay. After reading, I will check whether it is IT department fellow or not. Okay. For that, for reading what we need to write? We need to write try. For wherever you have reading, you have to write try. Then I'll write the unlimited loop, that is true. And then I will start my reading. Finally, L is equal to pickle dot load. Load is the read. Load. What load? F. Okay. So I got complete list which I have written on my binary file back. Okay. Now I have to check whether the salary, whether the fellow's department is IT or not. Okay, the first record read and came to L. Now I need to check his department is IT or not. For that, what I will write, if which cell represents department, this is 0, L of 0, L of 1, L of 2. L of 2 represents department. So if L of 2 dot lower function we have learned in 11th, what lower function will do? It will convert all the characters to lowercase. Okay. So if it is equal to IT, lowercase it I can return right now. Upper also you can use. If you want to use upper, you can use upper here. Then you have to write capital IT. That's all. Capital IT. Both are correct only. Okay. Lower likho, upper likho. Both are correct. Okay. So I'm going to write lower because I have written IT in lower only. So I'll write IT, and if it is L of 2 lower is IT, then I have to increase the salary. Which cell represents salary? Last cell. 0. This is 0th cell. This is first. This is second. This is third. So I have to update which cell? L of 3. L of 3 is equal to, L of 3 is equal to what? 2 lakh. Okay. This is what I have to do. Now I have to write this data into employee.dat. For writing we use dump function. But my students, I cannot write now because of one problem with binary file. You consider yourself traveling from one destination to another. Okay. You are traveling in a bus, private bus. So if you wanted to get down at one bus stop and by mistake you are sleeping and your bus passes that bus stop, what happens? You have to get down at the next bus stop, isn't it? The exact same thing happened with our binary file. Our binary file has read one file from the our program has read one file from the binary file. So one record is being kept into L. That means we passed that record. Now we cannot come back and write. You cannot come back and make changes in your previous bus stop. You already passed that location. Okay, you passed that location. So if you get down at the next bus stop and you catch a car and come back, that is possible. For catching a car, you have to use seek p function here, a seek function here, which I am not using now. Instead of that, I am going to rewrite my code a little bit. Okay. So I already passed that location. If I am standing in the same file, I cannot make correction. I passed that file. So what I am going to do is, I am going to make another file, a temporary file. I am going to make a temporary file. Okay, tmp.dat. I'm going to create this file for the first time, so I will create it in WB mode. Okay, new fresh file. Now what happens, I just open that file, then I am entering try block, then I started my loop. I read data from which file? F is what file? emp.dat. For emp.dat I read one record, and that record I have checked whether it is from the IT department or not. If it is from the IT department, I made necessary changes. If it is not from the IT department, no changes will be done. Now my L is ready. If it is an IT department, changes might have been done. If it is not an IT department, no change. Data is ready. Now I am going to write this all else I am receiving from the file to my new file temp.dat. Okay. All the L, whether it is updated, whether it is not updated, I am going to write all the else to my temp.dat. Okay. Let's just write it. For that we are using dump function. Okay. So I'm going to write into my temporary file. Okay. For that we will use pickle.dump to where I'm writing temporary file. Okay. The files in which I have made some changes, updated the salary, and the files in which I have not updated, every file I am writing into temporary file. So basically I have created almost a copy of emp.dat to temporary file. The only difference is temporary file is an updated file. Okay. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to handle the error. After reading the entire file, there will happen one error. We know that. That error we have to handle. For that we have to come exactly below try except. You can write exception or else you can write end of error. Okay. Here in this end of error, I am not writing anything. Okay, I am just passing it. I can write also, but I am not writing. Okay, so that I can introduce a new thing to you, which is finally. Okay. Just to introduce that I have done that. Otherwise I could have written directly also. No issue. Okay. Here I am going to close my file. Which file I am going to close? I am going to close both files. Okay. Closed it. Now I am going to do little bit arrangement. Let's go here and see. I have added one more file to my program, which is OS, import OS. Why I have added this? I just told you, no, I created a temporary file which is just a copy of emp.dat, updated copy of emp.dat. Now I want to rename this tmp to emp. To rename any file, we have to use the module OS. First, I have to remove emp. Remove bracket open inverted comma emp.dat. This will remove the existing old version of emp. Now the new version, which is tmp, will be renamed as EMP. Okay, this is what I want to do. Now let's just run this code. There is an append function, there is read, update and read. Just run and see. So let's just remove this append and read. Because append was working, read was working, we know that. Let's just run and see whether update is working or not. One error. Dump is missing. Where dump is missing? Here L is missing. L dot T. Now let's just run this code. Okay, so the person from IT department, his data has been changed. Okay, the person is from market department, his data is retained as previous. So update function work fine. Moving on to next question. A file passengers.dat stores the record of passengers using the following structure. In a list, PNR, PName, boarding station, destination, fare. Now PNR is a string, PName is a string, BRD is a string, DSTN is a string and fare only is float. Okay. Now write user defined function in Python for the following task. Create to input data for passengers and write it in the binary file passengers.dat. What does it mean? We have to create a file and write the data to passengers.dat. Now search DSTN D bracket, inside bracket we have an argument to receive. To read the contents from the file passengers.dat and display the details of those passengers whose destination matches with the value of D. So D will be passed and that will be a destination. So D will be a string type that has to be matched with the DSTN, that we have to search and display all the passengers details. Display the details. So all details has to be displayed. Update fare. To increase the fare of all passengers by 5% and rewrite the updated record to the file passengers.dat. Okay, this is like the previous question only. We have to open, we have to create a temporary file, we have to update and then we have to write back to the temporary file and then we have to rename it. Okay, let's do it. Function import pickle and then we have to open the file. F is equal to open passengers dot dat in WB mode. We are going to create the file, that's why in WB mode. Then now we have to ask the total number of passengers to the user. Enter the number of passengers. The number of passengers will be entered. Then we will run a for loop on number of passengers for I in range n colon. Now n times we need to input the data. First data is PNR. PNR is equal to input. It's a string, input PNR. Input PNR. Then next is PName is equal to, we will ask the user to input PName. Okay. Then BRDSTN, that is also string, so we will ask the user to input then next is DSTN, that also we will ask the user to input. It's also a string. Okay, that is done. Then we need to input fare. Fare is equal to that is float, so we need to write float fare. Okay, so input is been taken. Now all the input is to be arranged into a list. Very simple. Open a square bracket and write all these names. Okay, separated by comma. All these names separated by comma. That makes a list, and this list we are going to write into our file. For writing, what function we will use? We'll use pickle. Pickle, which function? Dump. Pickle dot dump. What we need to write? L. Where we need to write F. Okay. We have written that. This much only. We have to take input and we have to write all the input into file. Now we have to close the file. F dot close. Sorry. F dot close. So that is done. Now this has to be in a function. Okay, that's what I have missed, having written the function name. So function name is def create. Okay, def create. The C is capital. Create, open bracket, close bracket, colon, and then everything in this. Okay, now it is done. Now we can run and see whether it is been created or not. Let's just run. Okay, the pickle, just need to write simply import pickle. I need not to do colon and enter the number of passengers. I am writing 2. PNR I am writing 1, 2, 3, and P name I am writing ABCD, and station I am writing some X, and destination I am writing some Y, and fare I forgot to write the input, it seems. So float I need to write input, isn't it? Input fare. Input fare. Okay, now let's just run it. Number of passengers 2, PNR 1, 2, 3, name ABCD, and boarding station some Z, and destination some YYY, and fare is some 347.45. Then PNR is 234, and P name is BCDE, and boarding station is AAA, and destination is BBBB, and fare is some 567.50. So data is been entered. Okay, let's go back. Now create function we have finished. Now our next function is search destination. For that we will write def search dstn. dstn, and inside bracket we have to receive an argument. This argument is a string. Okay, so this function is opened for this function is in this function the file will be opened for only reading, because we need to search and display only. Open which file? Passengers.dat. This I'll copy from here and I'll paste it here. Okay. Here I need to open this in RB mode. Done. So in RB mode I will open, and then I have to take data from the file one after other. For that what we will do? Try. Okay. And then our unlimited loop while true. Okay. Then what we need to do? While true, nothing, we need to just read all the data here, isn't it? L is equal to pickle dot load. Which function we are using to take data out of binary file? Load function. Okay, data has been come. Now what we need to check is whether the destination given here inside D is the destination we entered or not. Okay, that's what we need to check. Okay, so for that each and every destination will be checked against this T. So it will be inside loop only. Okay, so let's check that. If L of at what position destination appears inside L? This is 0th position, L of 0. This is L of 1. This is L of 2. This is L of 3. So we have to check what? L of 3. If L of 3 is equal to D, which has come from outside. Okay? If L of 3 is equal to D, then we need to print what? Entire data we need to print. We can print L. Okay, if you want to print separately, that also you can do. कैसे separately how you will do? इस तरह से PNR. What is PNR? L of 0. Sorry. L of 0. And then 0, close it here, and 1 1 we will print 1 1 1. Okay, then what is P name? Like that you can print. Okay, I'm not going to print like that. In answer sheet you do like that. Okay, I'm going to directly print all the data. Done. If L of 3 is equal to D, we will print all the data, otherwise we will not print. That's what we need to do. Okay, then here what we need to do? Except EOF error. Either you try pass or you simply write close. Both are correct only. Okay, done. Now search function also we have finished. Now we have to search. We have to call the search. I will call the search function search DESTN. Search DESTN, and that D I will pass as, I have given destination as some YYY. So I will check for that. Okay, let's run this code. Yeah, we got the output. Okay, so our next function is update fare. So we need to write def update fare. Then we need to open the file. F is equal to open inverted comma passengers dot dat comma, we need to open the file in read mode. Then that is done. So here also update function. In the previous question how we have stored, how we have done, we created a temporary file. Same thing you have to do here. T is equal to open, create a temporary file, temp dot dat colon. This is creation, so we will be creating in WB mode. Okay, we opened one original file and one temporary file where we are going to copy all the updated files, then we will rename it. Okay, So now we have to start reading. For reading, what we need to do? Try. And we have to write unlimited loop after try. That is given, that all of you remember now. And in the unlimited loop, we need to do reading. For reading, we will write pickle.load and sorry. For reading, we will write pickle.load, pickle.load f. So once reading is been done, what we need to do? We need to update all the fare. Fare is at which position? This is L of 0, this is L of 1, L of 2, L of 3, L of 4. So L of 4 we need to update. So we'll write L of 4 is equal to L of 4 plus L of 4, how much percentage? 5 percentage into 5 divided by 100. Okay. 5% L of 4, 5% we have to add to L of 4. So 5% will be updated, isn't it? So we have done that. This you can include in bracket if you can't understand. Okay, that's we have done. Now what we need to do? We need to write all these record to update a record to temporary file. Pickle dot dump. What we need to dump? L, updated L. Where we need to dump? T, to the temporary file. Okay, this is only we have to do. After this we need to handle the exception. Except EOF error, you can write pass, or else you can write close also, no issue. F dot close. After this we will be writing T dot close. Then we have to rename the function by writing os dot rename our file name passengers.dat, and then we need to os dot remove. First we need to remove, sorry, we need to remove os dot passengers. Then we need to rename what? tmp dot dat has to be renamed to this passengers dot dat. Okay, after this we can call this function and see whether it is working or not, but I am not going to call now. I am going to write one more function to see whether it is working or not, to check whether it is working. So that is my read function, and read function you all know we have to start with a try. So first of all I'll open this file passengers.dat. Then that has to be opened for reading. Okay, RB mode. Then as always we need to write try, then we need to write while and true. Then we need to write load function. For that we will write L is equal to pickle dot load, what load? F load. Okay, then we just need to print that, print L. Okay, if you want to individually print you can do that. I am just checking whether it is working or not, so I am individually not printing. Okay, EOF error. If it is EOF error, I'll close the file. Okay, so this is just to open the file and read and print. Okay, that's it. Now I'll run my file, this function, read function. First of all I'll run create function, create. Then I have to call the update fare function. Update fare, I'll copy paste from here. I'll copy paste. Then we have to add open bracket, close bracket. I'm going to add one read function here because I want to see what all data I have entered, whether it is uh, correctly entered or not. Okay, so I added two read function in between create and update. So let's run and see. Enter the number of passengers. I am entering 2 passengers. PNR is 12. P name is ABCD and boarding station is BB. Destination is TD. Fare is 345.5 and PNR number is 13. Destination is BCDE. Boarding station is BB and destination is TD. Fare also 345.5. So you can see that the output is like this. 13 is the fare is been updated and it is updated to some proper values like the 5% fare been updated. Okay, so our functions are running perfectly fine. So we have written 3 function and scored 5 marks. Isn't it great? Okay, let's move to next question. This is the next question from previous question paper only. Keshav is an IT head in hospital. He needs to manage the records of all doctors in the hospital. For this, he wants to store the following information of each doctor in a file. Okay. DID is an integer to store doctor ID. DName is a string to store doctor name. DDPT, department, is a string again to store the department of the doctor. And experience is an integer to store doctor's experience in years. And the data will look like this. It's a list and it has all the following data inside. Okay. Now the question is, write one difference between storing this data in binary file and storing this data in a CSV file. So this is a theory question. So what is the one difference we can say? In binary file, data is stored in zeros and ones in binary format. So if we open the file, it will not be in human readable form. But if we store data in CSV file, data is stored in text format and it is human readable form. You can open and directly read. If you want to directly make the changes in the text file, that also can be done. And second difference is because there is no translation happening between binary and human readable format in a binary file, the execution of binary file is much faster than the execution of a CSV file. So these are the two differences. And now second question is, assume that the data is stored in a binary file named doctors.dat and each record is stored as a list. Write a function in Python to read and display all the records from doctors.dat. Okay, we have to assume that there is already a doctors.dat file and there are data stored in it in the form of list. We just need to take the data from that file and we have to print. Okay, very simple. Next is write a function add doctor in Python which accepts a doctor's data from the user and writes it to the file doctors.dat. Okay. There should be a function named add doctor which will accept one more data from the user and write it into doctors.dat. So this may be a function to add the doctors coming to hospital. So it may be an append function, I assume. And The first one is simple read function. Okay, let's do it then. Let's start by writing import pickle. Then we need to define the read function. Def, read and display, is what we have to do in this function. So we will write read and colon. In a read function, what we need to write? We need to open the file first. Open, bracket open. What is the name of the file? Doctors.dat. Okay. Now in which mode we have to open if we want to read? RB mode. Okay. So that's done. Now what I have told so far, whenever we have to read, we have to write try colon. Then what we will write? We will write while, and then we will write true. Okay. Simply now we have to do the load function. L is equal to pickle dot load, and from where you are going to load? F. From F we will load data from F. So this is what we have to do, and then we have to print all the data. Here, since data is being asked to print in a beautiful manner, we have to print in proper manner. So let us print in proper manner, like with all data given in the question. Did is L of 0. Did is L of 0, and likewise let's do for all the other data. Okay, next one is D name, that is L of 1, and next one is D department, and that is L of 2, and next one is experience, that is L of 3. Okay, so to look beautiful, let us give some colon also. Okay, now it's look nice. So printing we have done very nicely. Now we have to move out of the loop and we have to write except, then we'll write exception, or else you can write EOF error. Okay, EOF error, we will just close the file. Reading is so simple. Just close the file. Okay, done. Now next function is to add data into doctor.dat. So for that again we will define def add, A is capital, add, and D is capital, doctors. Why I am saying this is capital, this is because I have to write as the name of the function given in the question paper. I cannot change that. If I change, I lose mark. Okay, that's why I am copying as it is given in the question paper. DEF add doctor colon, and we are coming inside the loop. Again, we have to open the file. Open the file in which mode we are going to open the file. Now you all are very familiar with all these things. I need to add only now, so I will open in AB mode. Okay, existing file, there is an existing file which is doctors.dat. It's not doctors, it's doctors.dat. Then to this file I have to add one new set of data. So I'll ask the user to enter data now. So I'll ask did is equal to int input department ID. Okay, I'm just going to copy and paste now for the next set of data I have to enter. next set of data is integer. So int I don't, they are string. So I don't need integer. D name. So I have department name and DID department of the doctor. Okay, this is also a string, so I am removing this int. D, this is D department. D dpt is equal to int input only, so this bracket is not required. Okay, D department. Now next one is experience. Let's just copy this thing, and for experience I will paste it, and again I'll write D experience. D experience is equal to enter what? Experience of the doctor. Okay. So this is how we are entering data. Now we have to make all the data into a list, because list by list store karna. That's what is asked in the question. So DID comma D name comma D DPT comma D experience. D experience. DID, D name, D DPT, D experience. So we have arranged all the data in the list. Now what we need to do? We need to write this cell into the file. How we will write? We will call the function pickle dot dump. Pickle dot dump. Sorry. Pickle dot dump, and bracket open. What we need to write first? The data, and then what we need to write? Name of the file. Okay, that's it. The question was asked to write the data of one doctor, so we have written a code to add the data of one doctor only. Okay, now we need to close the file. Just close the file, and we are done. Now you have to write the function calls. For that I am writing the function call add doctor, and then I'll write the function read. Sorry, it's a small read, it seems. Small read. Okay. I'll call a small read function. Read. Let us run this program. Department ID, I am writing 1, and department name ABCD, and department of the doctor is XYZ, and experience of the doctor 2 years. See, so this was our second function append, and this is our read function. Both work fine. Okay. Now move on to next question. Next question is like this. Consider a binary file cinema.dat containing the information in the following structure: MNA, MName, MType. Write a function search copy that reads the content of from the file cinema.dat and copies all the details of the comedy movie type to the file named movie.dat. So this question is basically to open an existing file cinema.dat and copy the content of that file into a file named movie.dat where the movie type are comedy. Okay, so let's do it. So first we have to write import pickle, then we have to write the name of the function. What is the name of the function given in the question? That is search copy. So we wrote search copy colon. Now we need to open the file in read mode. Open which file in read mode? We have to open the file named cinema.dat in Which mode? RB mode. We are going to read the content from that file. So we will open in RB mode. For reading, what we need to write first? Try. Then we need to write an infinite loop. That is true. Then we need to read the data into a list. For that we will write what? Pickle dot load. Pickle dot load. From where you want to load? From F. Now what you need to do? You need to check the movie type, whether the movie type is comedy or not. That's what movie type you have to check. Movie type is in the second position of the list. L of 0, L of 1 and L of 2. L of 2 is for movie type, M type. So that's what we have to check. L of 2. If L of 2 is equal to if L of 2 is equal to what? Comedy. Okay. So instead of writing this, I will write for string checking. I will convert this into lower. Then only I'll check. L of 2 lower, so that any kind of letters can be considered. Sometimes we write in uppercase, times we write in smaller case, sometimes we write in title case. So in whatever case we are writing, I need to find the output. That's why I am writing. I am converting everything into lowercase and then checking it against the word comedy. So L of 2 dot lower is equal to comedy. If this is true, what I need to do is I need to write this content to another file named movie.dat. Okay. So if I need to write into another file, that means I have to open another file. So I am going to open another file named x is equal to open. Which file I am going to create? What is the name of the file I need to create? That is movie.dat. And if I want to create in which mode I should create it, I should open it in WB mode. So if L of 2 dot lower is equal to comedy, then only I will write that particular L to the file represented by X. So I need to do pickle here, pickle dot dump. Pickle dot dump. What I need to write? The new L to where I need to write to X. I am not writing to F. F is my file which represents cinema.dat, which I have opened in read mode. But I need to write the data into movie.dat, which is represented by X. That file I have opened in write mode. So pickle.dump will work on X only. Okay. So this is only I have to do. So while true, I will read one content from the file represented by F, and then I will check whether L of 2 is equal to comedy. If it is equal to comedy, then I will write that particular list to a new file named movie.dat represented by X. Okay. Now coming out of the loop, I can write except EOF error, or exception also I can write F dot close. Okay, this is only search file has to do. This question doesn't ask any other file, any other function, but I need to write um, one more function if I want to check it. For the answer sheet, you need to write this much only. Your work will be done. If you want to see the output in the screen, then you have to write one more function. One function to create cinema.dat and one function to read the data from movie.dat to find out whether you have copied successfully or not. For this you can refer my previous slides, previous part of the same video. I have explained all these things, how to write and how to read. So go through that. So with this we are winding up the binary files here. Okay. See you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.